So, Harry and Meghan are coming back to the United Kingdom, and I have to admit, like many of you, I've been watching the theories multiply by the hour. Now, nobody really knows why. They haven't told us, so everyone is just guessing. Today, I want to go through some of those theories, ask questions that deserve answers, and talk about the people in this story who just didn't choose to be involved. Now, behind the headlines, there's a king who has been really ill, a brother and sister-in-law who have faced challenges I wouldn't wish on anyone, and 2, possibly 5 young children who had no say in any of this. Now, let's start with the facts. In a story moving this fast, facts matter. Harry and Meghan are relocating from California to a private residence outside London, and it's before the end of this month. Their children, Archie, who is 7, I believe, and Lilibet, she's a couple of years younger, so 5, have already been enrolled in British schools for September. King Charles apparently was informed last Sunday, not in July when the family visited Highgrove. He found out last Sunday, but through a different channel, obviously. Buckingham Palace has confirmed there will be no change in their status, no HRH titles, no return to royal duties. They come back as private citizens. Now, their spokesperson, I was going to say spokesman, their spokesperson has declined to comment on the reasons for the move. So they are coming back, but they won't say why. And the country is left to speculate. That's what happens when you say nothing. The theories. Media, just media, forget the multi. Media speculation versus the truth. And the truth is simple. We don't know. Harry and Meghan have not told us, and their spokesperson has declined to comment. Without any explanation from those at the centre of the story, the rest of us are just left to fill in the gaps. Now, before I go through what is being said, I want to be absolutely clear about something. Everything I'm about to share is media speculation. It's what newspapers are reporting, what sources are claiming, and what royal correspondents are suggesting. None of it is confirmed. None of it. None of it is from the Sussexes themselves, so none of it is the truth. The only people who know the truth are the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, and they are not talking. Now, here's what is being said. 6 theories. All of them are plausible. Any of them could be right, or partly right. That's the nature of speculation. But they could also be very, very wrong, especially when the people at the centre of the story stay silent. The visa. Harry admitted in his memoir called Spare, to past recreational drug use. The US visa application asks specifically about drug use. The Heritage Foundation, they've been fighting for years to get those records released. The next court filing is apparently due in October 2026. Donald Trump has previously suggested Harry could face deportation. But when asked recently, Trump said, and I quote, "I'll leave him alone. He's got enough problems with his wife. She's terrible." Now, when Donald Trump feels sorry for you, you're in a particular kind of difficulty. Theory 2, the money. Sources suggest that the couple spends about $3 million a year on security alone and needs at least $6 million a year to maintain their California lifestyle. Their idea of skint and my idea of skint are totally different, obviously. Staff numbers, they've been reportedly been seen to be cut from 17 to 4. A source told the media, "I'm sure there are a lot of reasons for the move, but I don't think cash is a big one." So is the UK simply more affordable than Montecito? Quite possibly. While we're on the topic of money, though, here's a question nobody seems to be asking. If the move is permanent, if the children are at a British school and Meghan is working from the UK, why are they keeping Montecito House? A house that costs millions to run, millions in security, and if money is tight, why not just sell it? There are two possible reasons, or two possible answers. Either this isn't permanent, and the house is their escape plan if the UK doesn't work out, or they can't sell it for some reason we don't know about. Either way, you can't claim financial pressure as a reason for moving whilst keeping a multi-million-dollar California mansion. You can't have it both ways. Theory 3. The King's health. King Charles has cancer and is receiving treatment, but I think he's possibly more poorly than we realise. He's not a young man. Whatever has happened between Harry and his father over the last 6 years, and yes, there has been a lot, time may be running out. Is his son coming home to see his father while he still can? If so, that has to be the most human explanation of all of it, really. And it's probably the one that deserves the most respect. Theory 4. Meghan's acting. Didn't know she could, but there you go. Multiple sources confirmed by ABC News. Now, I'm not sure how big ABC News is. I live in the UK, but in America, I'm perceiving it to be massive. They say that Meghan has been offered a major acting role in the UK, and reports suggest it may be Guy Ritchie's Netflix crime drama, The Gentleman. Now, talks are described as ongoing, and a source close to the couple said there have been inquiries in the entertainment space and things she is considering, but nothing is firm yet. I should blink and well Coco, it's not firm. Now, she left acting to become a royal. She left the royals to go to Hollywood and may now be returning to acting in Britain. You just genuinely couldn't make this up. Theory 5. The As Ever business. Meghan's lifestyle brand. Reportedly generating, I couldn't believe it when I saw this figure, generating over £26 million from jam sales alone. I don't know whether that's a website glitch or what, but sources say she will continue running as ever from the UK. Now, is the British market more commercially attractive than the American one right now? Possibly. I don't know. The narrative, they spent 6 years telling us that UK was toxic, unwelcoming, impossible to live in without taxpayer-funded security. And now, without explanation, they're coming back. Is this an attempt to rewrite the story or to reposition themselves as a couple who came home? Almost certainly, I would guess part of it is just about them. And the sixth, I can't speak properly. The sixth theory, I said I couldn't speak. The sixth theory is that they just want to get their feet back under the table to protect possible titles, to protect inheritance. Now, there's 6 theories. All of them are plausible. Any of them could be right, or partly right, or none of them right. The truth is, we still don't know, and they haven't told us. King Charles, now he's between a rock and a hard place. Because nobody in this story is in a more difficult position than he is. He has cancer and is dealing with it privately, showing considerable dignity. He continues to work and carry out his duties. All the while, this story swirls around him. His son spent 6 years through interviews, a memoir, and a Netflix series, saying things about the royal family that cannot be unsaid. Some of the things were about him, his parenting, his priorities, and the choice he made as a father. Yet Harry is still his son, and Archie and Lilibet are still his grandchildren. Time, as everyone who has watched a parent fight illness knows, is not something you can just get back. The King finding out last Sunday, not during the July visit, not face to face, but a week after by a different communication, is in that case either a disgrace or it's an explanation that hasn't been offered yet. And I know which one I think it is. I think these two people deserve to be spoken about honestly. I have enormous respect and admiration for William and Catherine, for example. They've been through cancer, and they handled it with more grace and dignity than most people can manage when they're in the best of health. She has protected her children, she's supported her husband and continued to carry out her duties. She has done all of this while the Sussex story, the allegations, the interviews, the unnamed sources, the carefully managed narratives, they've never fully stopped. William has watched his brother, someone he grew up with, was close to and was meant to be by his side, spend 6 years putting things on record that cannot be taken back. About William's wife, about his family, about his character. Neither of them can answer back. They are bound by a lifetime of duty and restraint. Excuse me. They cannot respond to every allegation or defend themselves publicly. They have to absorb it and keep going. That is a very particular kind of loneliness, I think, and the British public should acknowledge where William's at, William and Catherine and their children are at. Will they forgive Harry for what he has allowed to happen to them? I genuinely don't know. I think forgiveness, if it comes, will take a very long time. The return to the UK does not automatically begin that process. Coming back is not an apology. Moving your children to British schools is not a retraction. You can't spend 6 years dismantling someone's reputation and then reappear in their country expecting a warm welcome. I do hope for everyone's sake, especially the children, that some form of reconciliation is possible. Will they ever regain trust? I don't know. But it all requires something from Harry and Meghan that has not yet been publicly offered. It requires honesty, and so far, let's be honest, honesty has not been their strong suit. And now the question every taxpayer is entitled to ask. Harry spent 7 years fighting the British government for taxpayer-funded security. When he visited this country, he lost that High Court case and is still appealing. And now the legal battle has already cost the Home Office over £400,000 in legal fees. This is not the newspaper fight, which he lost outright. This is the fight for his own security. But it's paid for by you and me. He said repeatedly on record that it is impossible to bring his family to the UK without police protection. He said the threat to their safety was real and that he feared for his children and his wife. And now he's moving them here permanently, without resolution of that legal case, without explanation of how the security issues has been addressed, without a word about who is paying for it. The Prime Minister, Andy Burnham, has called it a private matter. Don't know if that's true either from him. If taxpayer-funded protection is being quietly arranged for a couple who walked away from their royal duties and spent 6 years criticising the institution that would be protecting them, that's a very public matter. The British public paid for their wedding, paid for the renovation of Frogmore Cottage, paid for the early security costs, has been paying for the legal battle ever since. The British public has a right to know who is paying for their security now and how much. Whatever I think of Harry and Meghan, and I've made that reasonably clear, the children are innocent in all of this. Archie and Lilibet did not choose California. did not choose the interviews or the memoir or the Netflix series, did not choose to be used as part of a narrative at various points in their short lives. They're 7 and 5 years old. If coming back to Britain gives them a more normal life, British friends, British schools, a grandfather who is ill and who loves them, then for their sake, genuinely, I hope it works. The children deserve better. They deserve better than the cards they've been dealt, in all honesty. So, what do I make of all this? I think they're coming back because they have to, not because they particularly want to. The reasons are probably financial, legal, and personal, and almost certainly a combination of all of those things. And more than we don't know, yet. More than we know, not what we don't know, it's more than we know yet. I think Montecito House tells you everything about how permanent this really is. Whether when you sell a house, I'll believe the comment. I think the way King Charles was informed, if reports are accurate, is something Harry will have to live with, especially given his father's health. And I think William and Catherine, who have conducted themselves throughout this entire episode with more dignity than most people could manage, deserves the support, the respect of the British people. They have earned it. You're left without much of an explanation, Harry. The least you can do is come back with one. I'm no fan of the way this has been handled. I think you know that. But somewhere underneath all of this, there is a family, a broken, complicated, very public and deeply private family. And I genuinely hope that some good comes of this for the people who deserve it most. The King, William and Catherine, and 2 small children who just want to go to school. Now the question isn't whether they should come back. The question is whether they have earned the right to expect a welcome. And by the time you watch this, it could have all changed. I'm Nick. This is Still Talking. I'll see you in the next video.